guys, welcome back. Okay, so I already updated the Assault Mode deck list, right? Because if you saw it in Chris Card's channel, on Brian and Logan's channel, I showed a very I guess like very hand trap heavy, very straightforward deck list, right? And the Hulk sequence was a bit not as advantageous because, like, of course, if you resolve the Black Rose, like when your opponent has invested his entire hand basically, then of course you can out resource him that way. But like this way, you have the Librarian draws, and you can still have your setup, which is really cool. And then so one of you pointed out about the tuner, the Mecha Phantom Beast tuner. Apparently, what it's a mandatory effect, right? It's mandatory when you use it as a synchro material for a machine. So you have to get the token. So that kind of messed up the sequence a bit. Not too much because you just skip a step, and then the extra deck changes as well. But let's just get into the deck because it's so cool. Okay, so first off, you're playing your 3 Stardust Assault Mode, right? It's your boss monster of the deck, right? It's how you win the game, basically. You just keep bringing this guy back, negate, special, keep just recently your opponent, like slowly but gradually, picking at your opponent's resources that way, right? Of course, you have 3 of those, and then of course you have your consistency card, which is your Assault Sentinel, which is how you get to this guy with just a singular card. Because this guy, you tribute itself to special summon a monster from your deck, hand or deck. I'm pretty sure it's hand or deck, right? Pretty sure it's hand or deck. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. You can tribute this card special summon from your hand or deck. Yeah, so it's cool. So even if you draw the side reflectors, it can still be utilized, which is something that's like, oh damn, like if you draw a side reflector, it will be kind of pointless if you can only summon from the deck. It would still be good, but it'll make it to where if you draw this, it wouldn't be as impactful. I'll be like, oh, what? That'd be kind of bad. So anyways, this summons this guy, right? And then this guy searches your any monster with Assault Mode activate in its text, right? Add it to your hand, and then you can reveal and Assault Mode activate to special summon a level 4 lore monster from your graveyard that lists Assault Mode activate in its text. So most likely you're always going to be reviving Sentinel or Beast, right? And then when it's summoned, you can choose a level 1 to 4 and change its levels to add those levels to its level, right? So normally you just increase level by 3, make it a level 7. 1 and 7 is 8, right? So synchro summoning 101. Okay, so that's the whole point of the deck. Just get to this as consistent as possible because you have 3 of this, 3 of this, and tankies. So it's most likely that you're always gonna have a Stardust Assault Mode play like every single turn, which is huge. And this is the different part to what I wasn't playing in the Crush Cards video. Before the ban list, I was trying this out because it's really good with the spell, right? With this one, because what this one does is you can discard a card, special summon itself, and fire rent, right? You special summon your fire rent, right? But then you're bound to only synchro summoning, which is kind of like it's kind of annoying, but it's still good nonetheless because it gives you a Stardust Assault Mode apart from having your normal summon off of these guys, right? So you discard this to the graveyard and special summon, and then you special summon your fire rent, right? And that's your level 8 synchro, right? And then what this does in grave, you can banish it and to set an Assault Mode activate trap from your deck, right? And you can use it that turn, right? So you can have an Assault Mode activate on live on your turn, so you can do this and then do a second one, right? Which is really cool. It just pushes out Stardust Assault Mode quite quite aggressively. And having 2 omni negates is pretty huge. Negating anything and they come back, that's huge, especially if you time it properly and you know the matchup, right? It's so good. These would have been Righty drivers or Jet Sequence, but yeah, this is like a different build. And then of course you have your Gamma. This is not as hand trap heavy because it's more of a I guess more of a aggressive build kind of in a way. But this is just always gonna be in the deck because it helps. It has so much synergy with your Stardust Assault Mode because your Stardust Assault Mode leaves the field and it leaves it open for Gamma, and it's hard to play around those obscurities, and that's really huge because like competitively speaking, as like you need these type of edgy things when you're playing like Rogue, and not I guess top tier decks, but like it kind of gives like a helping hand, which is really impactful in this particular deck, because you can tribute the Assault Sentinel, and then the Ash or Gamma or something, then you just negate it, right? And you summon your Reflector, Surge, and you have a level 8 Synchro, or you can make Hulk. But you know, you can't go Hulk because you already used the Sentinel's effect. But other than that, it's just really good, because like even if they save for the Assault Mode activate, you just Gamma them and just resolve your Assault Mode, which is really good. Okay, and then you have, of course, the one-ups, the kind of like things you need to have. Your Driver, and then of course your Assault Beast, because you don't really need more than one. You just need it once for when you hard open this, or teleport, or 1-for-1, or just draw into this by itself. Because normally you would tribute this and revive this, but since you don't have that, you just summon this. Then you need a way to get to a material engrave, so you just send this. So you go summon, add this, activate effect, discard to add an Assault Mode activate, right? And then that's how you do it from there. And then of course you have your Fire Ant, because these are like the garnets that go with this, right? This one goes with this one goes with this one, and then this one goes with this one. It's like their own little buddies that are just like tagging along. Anyway, and this is your Hulk, your Hulk targets, right? You have your Plague Spreader, because it's part of the new sequence, and then I'm still keeping the War Blurren, because it gives you the formula Librarian draws, which I'll show you after. But this is really good. The sequence changed a bit from the video I showed you guys in the past. That was yesterday, the day before, where I made Ultimaya, right? But you had to change the extra deck because that's mandatory. So that kind of changed quite a bit. Anyways, he goes spells. Saves to some purpose as a Gamma. It pushes your Assault Mode, negates Ash, and just any generic hand trap. Pretty good. And of course you have your Reborn Stardust. If you have multiple Assault Mode activates, so you can have, because the whole purpose of the deck is just get to Assault Mode activate as fast as possible, right? And then of course you have your World 1-for-1. This gets Reflector, and then of course you have your Duster, the new addition off the balance, which is, oh my god, it's so good, so good. It's right, because you need equalizers, because you're 1-for-1ing with Stardust Assault Mode. And you can only do that for so long before you just get overwhelmed, and you need these type of things. Okay, so those are your one-ofs, right? Pretty powerful one-ofs though, for sure. Then you have your more consistency cards, right? You have your triple tanky, because your tanky searches your Sentinels and your Beast, right? Which is really cool. And then this is where it gets kind of, okay, some of you are not gonna like this, but it's just really good, because it works so well with Stardust Assault Mode, because it tributes cost. And then during the end phase, you can trigger the Mind and trigger your Assault Mode, which is so good, man. It's good going first, good going second. It just, oh my god, it's so good. Like, it's just really good. Because like it's an instant negate. They're gonna have to negate this, right? And most of the time, if you're like 1-for-1ing with just one Stardust, it's so good, because like one thing you can do that I've been doing a lot is go and activate this, go in second, then negate the first one, okay, activate the second one, and then, okay, what the hell? So then it resolves, and then I just do the standard Side Reflector play with Sentinel, and you play Black Rose in his deck. So you go Mystic Mine, you know, Black Rose nuke the board and just clear the field, and then set your strikes and set, you know, and it's just really good. It's just super cool. Of course, we've all seen the degenerate burn decks that utilize this to their advantage to like stall the game, whereas this is more it's a bit different, right? Because you're actually progressing. You're not just relying on like a not so fond strategy to win the Yugioh, which is burn. But yeah, this is really good because during the end phase, right, you can trigger this first because it'll keep checking, and then do the Stardust Assault Mode, which is really good. Okay, so that's your spells, your power spells, I guess. Mystic Mine, I mean. And then of course you have your Assault Mode 0, which is the reason you play it is because of the Dawnwalkers, right? Because you discard this and it gives you 2 Stardust Assault Modes like really fast, right? Because one off Dawnwalker and one off Sentinel or Side Reflector, which is really huge. You can set this, right? This sets this the same turn, and you can use it the same turn, which is huge. What was the one? Which is huge, right? But I keep going back and forth on this, whether I just play 2 of this or even just 1 of this, just, you know. But you kind of want to open it, you know. You kind of want to open it with Dawnwalker, so it's like, yeah. And sometimes you do hard open your what's it called, your Stardust Assault Modes, and you just want to get out of your hand. So like, so far it's been pretty good. I'm not minding it. It's been nice. And then of course you have your strikes, because strike is just amazing in his deck when you pair it up with Stardust Assault Mode. Like it's just so good. You know, that setup might seem very insignificant, but an omni and strike timed properly is insane. Like it's really good. Like really good, right? Yeah. Other than that, it just stops Ash. It stops any like normal summon bound decks like Oviraptor. If they want to be greedy, they go Oviraptor without having Miscellaneous. It's like, okay, strike that. Okay. And it's just really good altogether. It's just I like it. It's really good. It's a good trap that you can set up, right? And then of course you have 2 more traps, which is because like I said, you can make Black Rose Dragon in this deck. So the fact that you can do that makes Reboot amazing, right? Because there's still like a lot of trap decks in the format. Combo decks, Rocket's like the main one right now. But like just Dogmatic, you don't want to like just lose the Dogmatic and like, you know, Eldritch, like it's really annoying. So you just reboot them, and then you just Black Rose their field, and then hopefully just set everything up. And then of course you have your 1 Metaverse, because this Metaverse gets you the Mystic Mine. Like there's do you be surprised how many times I Black Rose the board and I have this as a backup? Just set this and pass, and then they try to extend, and then I go Metaverse. You're gonna get your Mystic Mine, right? And it just locks, and they have no response. They have nothing, you know. And then seeing as how consistent your deck is into having tankies, having teleport 1-for-1, like you're gonna just pop off the following turn and then just control the game that way, yeah, which is insane. It is so cool. It's freaking awesome. But one thing I have been considering, like maybe like keeping the Mystic Mine, keeping this, right, and maybe taking these out and just putting more interactions, right? Just taking, like, I guess tone it down a bit, because you still have the Hulk sequence, you still have that, right? But look at how much would you look at that. You eliminate these bricks, right? Essentially bricks, because like, you know, already have 6, because you have the Assault Mode activate and the Stardust Assault Mode. Like, look, if you cut these, that's 7 cards. That's 7 cards you can add to like play interactions. Like it'll just make it that much more consistent, right? Because it won't be consistent as in doing what's it's intended to do, but more so it be consistent in a way it just interacts with your opponent until you get to your consistency. Does that make sense? But yeah, yeah. So far, I'm liking it so far. This is really cool. Then we go ahead to the Extractor, because it changed due to that little hiccup, because it is, here's the Extractor. Okay, so you still have the same sequence, right? The same Hulk sequence. You have your Mecha Phantom Piece of Rorodon, your Crystalline Hulky Fibrax, your blocker, and of course you have your Lean Cross, right? This is like, yeah, this is standard at this point. And then you had to replace the Ultimaya, because you can't do that sequence anymore, because it's mandatory to use the tokens effect, because you make formula, like you always make formula. So I put it on Satellite Warrior, because you can do, there's a sequence you can do where you can set this up, or have a Stardust Assault Mode, or Savage play, which is huge. It's just it's destruction, which is amazing. And then the Savage, because it's sometimes you can't get over big beefy monsters, so this is 4K. Same deal. This one is it'll go above 4K, which is that's how you deal with big problematic monsters, right? And then there's those untargetable monsters, which is quite annoying, which is why you play Cyber's Quantum Dragon. It just bounces it and doesn't target, and then just attacks again. It's so cool. And then of course Black Rose Dragon, because you can make it so easily, and then paired up with Reboot. Oh my god. So and Mystic Mine. Oh my god, forget about it. TG Hyper Librarian because it gives you the draw power. Excel Synchro because it's part of the setup, right? And then of course Meta Marcher, and then of course last but not least Formula Synchron because it gets you the draws and it gets you to the setup you want to get. And then of course last but not least for sure the MVP of the deck, the whole reason why the deck is Stardust Dragon. Amazing, right? Amazing. Did you see that? If you guys watched that video with against Pendulum when I could have negated the Jackal with this, I was like, oh my god, so cool. But yeah, that's the extra deck, right? I wanted to fit Omega. I guess you can cut this and play Omega, right? But this just hires the ceiling that much more, you know. Having as an option is amazing. Just nuking the board for 4. It's huge. It's so good, right? Because like though they have to get rid of the token. I'll show you in a bit. It'll make much more sense. But that's basically it. Let me go ahead and show you the sequence so it can make much more sense. So you basically have the thing. Let me just go ahead and get the card, right? Because you just go this right, and then this. Okay. Just to quickly show you the combo. Okay, so basically you do the standard play. You go summon effect, this searches this, discard this, adds this, right? And then use the second effect, right? Reveal to special summon, launch of this activate in this text, right? And then you just link these two into your where is it? Your help, right? And then you Hulk summons your Plague Spreader. Okay. And then this turns into your Link Cross. And then you get your tokens. Where the heck? Not a token. Double tokens, right? Double tokens. Doesn't matter where you place them because, yeah, it doesn't matter. And these two make your Meta Marcher. Right, Meta Marcher brings back. Doesn't matter who you bring back because you're gonna make a blocker anyways, right? So then you go for a blocker, and that's only just a climbing to make a Rorodon, right? And these two machines. 3 for this, right? And then you get your 3 tokens, right? Okay. Right. And then right here you'll have like other cards. Well, you have 4 cards, right? You have 4 cards, right? That doesn't matter what they are. Okay, and then you're just gonna go. Depending if you drew like let's say for example, so you drew this, right? You top deck this, right? You top deck this, and then you use the effect, right? You use the effect of Rorodon to shuffle the top deck. So when you do draw Librarian, you won't be drawing into the card you top deck, right? So you summon this, right? And this is where it gets really cool because the fact that you have this as options is amazing, right? Okay, so you go this and this token level 3. You make your Librarian, right? Cool. And then you make this into your Formula Synchron. Okay, so in the previous combo, before I was aware that it was mandatory, I would go for the Excel into Ultimaya, but since you're forced, it's mandatory to get a token, so then that means it'll go 1, 2, 3, gives you a level 3 token, right? So you draw 2 more cards, right? 1, 2, okay, cool. So then now, what happens now is you're bound to only synchro summoning wins or special summoning just only wins, right? So you can go start us here, right? You can go start us here, or you can wait and synchro during your opponent's turn, which is huge, right? Because like you have the option to go either having a Stardust Assault Mode, blow up the field. Like, see what I mean? Okay, okay, we can either the first route is this, right? First route is this: have guaranteed omni negate, That's guaranteed, right? Or we can wait and be like, okay, you know what? I want to get as much value as I can out of these resources that I just generated, right? So then you go, okay, set this just in case you want to make the omni negate. You go pass, right? Unless they have lightning storm or droplets or something along those lines to negate the setup, then you're gonna just draw. You can draw 2 on top of popping or debating on what you want to make, right? So on their turn, you go effect, right? Effect. You sync it with a token, and you make your Excel synchron, right? And then you draw 1 more card, right? You draw 1 more card, okay? And then this is level 3, and this is level 5. So you have the option to, depending on what you're playing against, to go Stardust, Savage, or make into a Satellite Warrior. That's huge. The fact that you have those 3 options is amazing, right? And you get drawn on the card, right? Assuming you make it with this guy. Okay. So then, let's say you go, okay, let's just make Stardust. Stardust Dragon. You draw another card. Alright, that's all good for next turn because you already did that sequence, so this is gonna give you double the Stardust Assault Mode, right? Which is huge. And then, yeah. And then you just go activate, right, and summon your guy. Okay. And then you have that set up, right? And then you'll negate, right, something, and then they'll probably pop this somehow, and then you have a gamma that's live. And then it won't be game, right? And then this will come back, you draw, and then you if they have like an overwhelming board, then you go Mystic Mine, right? And then you just blew up their board, and then you just make it in assault mode after. You know, like that's huge. That's so cool, right? Or you can just go into the other play, right, where you have Satellite Warrior, or you can just go into Savage. Right, you can go Savage if you wanted to, really. Right, Savage equipped. It'll be a 4K beater that they can't really get around, huh? Because it's 4K, dude. Equipped, right? You can draw a card as well. But the one that's like I really want to resolve is if you do the the Satellite Warrior play. That's just huge, man. Because you can go Satellite Warrior. You won't draw, but the fact that you can still pop, like even like when they set everything, because especially they won't expect it, right? They won't expect it, because they'll have to pop the token. There's Excel is freaking pretty big. Excel is 21 defense. This is 24, so they're gonna get rid of this. And then the coast is clear, right? They're not gonna expect that you play this. I mean, some might expect it, but most likely they won't. And then you just go when they set everything, or when they invested quite a bit, then you make this, and you can pop 1, 2, 3, 4. You can pop 4 cards, dude. 4 cards you can pop. That's huge, right? Like that's crazy. That's amazing, man. And then you just follow it up, right? And then this will fulfill its purpose. It's meant to be an equalizer because you're 1-for-1 in your opponent with your boss monster, right? But yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if I want to keep it this aggressive and just put more interactions, go back to the Ash, Veiler, Imperm, those type of things, right? And then just I guess draw good things off of Librarian draws, but having the Dawnwalkers increase the consistency and the ceiling, which is amazing, right? Let me see if I can do one test time. I don't want the video to be way too long. Or I think I'll just do a separate video. I think I'll do a separate video with doing test time, because this is getting kind of long. It's already gonna be like 20. Oh yeah, it's gonna be over 20 minutes, I think. Yeah. Oh no. But little glimpse, I guess. Oh my god. Oh my god, so cool. Going second, easy. Going second, amazing. Going first, if I don't get gamma or stop, that's amazing. So cool. Anyways, that's me. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.